Sorry.
Welcome to Pints of Interest. It's number 3 in this particular shirt series. What we're going to be doing here is Belhaven Scottish Stout. Lovely. So for just a traditional stout, this is not an imperial, it's only 7%. What you should be using is a standard pint glass, as Ryan and I have in front of us here. Now you can see this is the tasting version. This is slightly smaller. This is the tasting version of it, since this was a smaller bottle that we had. It wasn't one of the big 750ml bottles. And then just to experiment, we have Tom here has a snifter glass for this one, which traditionally you're going to use for imperial stouts and something with a heavier alcohol in it. So we'll see how this all works out in the glassware here, just to try something different with it. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try and see you on the other side. This Scottish Stout is brewed by Belhaven Brewery. It's an English-style stout. It costs $5. The ABV is 7%. The glassware you should use is a standard pint or mug. The serving temperature should be between 45 and 54 degrees Fahrenheit. We had ours at 48, and it's available year-round. Alright, welcome back, or we are back from our tasting here, and we have our notes for you for the different glasses we have in front of us. Again, Ryan and myself have the pint glass, which would be the proper serving glass for this particular beer, and then Tom, for the hell of it, is drinking it out of a snifter, so we'll see if the experience is any different for all of us. So as far as aromas are concerned, for the pint glass, I actually got a little bit, we discussed this, of a light toast, kind of a Java bean with a molasses malt, and just a slight vanilla. That's probably making it a little bit over complex. It's probably a little bit of a simpler aroma there, but there are those elements that each time you smell, you kind of get a little bit something more there. Yeah. Did you got something similar from that? Yeah. What did you get with the snifter?
I didn't get any of that, so that's interesting. I got toasted and sort of a sharp, bitter, I say cocoa, but it doesn't taste like that at all. So I don't know if that's it or not. But I don't get any of the other items that they mentioned.
So as far as the taste is concerned, do you want to talk about the taste of the wine glass?
Taste-wise, it actually is fairly pleasant. It's a bit carbonated. There's kind of a malty sweetness going on there. It has a very dry finish, but it also has a bit of a creamier or a dense mouthfeel. It's not quite as far as a cream stout, but still pretty pleasant.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it's just a little bit thinner than a cream, but not thin. It's somewhere in between those two, where it's got a little bit of a nicer mouthfeel to it. I agree with everything that he said, dry finish especially. And to me, I actually describe this a little bit as cola-esque, with like malt sweetness to it. It's had that kind of cola quality as far as the carbonation is concerned, and just kind of the sweetness and how it works. I don't know, that's just what it came across for me, but yeah, I also agree it was pretty decent. I also know that it was very different for the snifter, so you can go ahead and talk about that.
I just got a light toasted malt flavor. It's sort of a thinnish type of mouthfeel to me. The carbonation was nice, so I believe that translated well across the two different types of glasses. That's, and I had a slight sweetness to mine.
Frankly, it was kind of bland. It didn't have anywhere near the complexity. Not that this is an overly complex beer, but that, like you had a little bit of the carbonation that went with it, a little bit of that malt sweetness in the front, and then it's down to nothing. Alright, so I think I already know the answer to this, but what do you think as far as the glass that you're supposed to use for this? Okay.
Yeah, I think
Alright, so I think all three of us definitely prefer the traditional pint glass for this beer as you're supposed to use. Snifter, not so much, doesn't really enhance anything with this one, actually makes it a little blander. It detracts from it. Alright, how do you feel about this beer overall?
I like it. I think it's definitely, I mean, are there examples I like better in the genre? Yes. But I still think it's a fairly decent beer on its own, and you know, certainly if I was served it, or if I found a place that had it and they didn't have a stout I really, really liked, I would absolutely go for it.
Yeah, for me, this is kind of like a Guinness stand-in. I think personally, I prefer. All right, he
As
likes
I wear
a little
their
bit
shirt.
better. He likes it a little bit better. I think I like Guinness just slightly better. I think I like how it mixes things a little bit more. It's a little bit even more of a creaminess to it. There's just something very unique about it. I still think this is good. Would you recommend this one?
Yes.
All right, so he'd recommend this. I'm another one of those just on the verge of try if and recommend. I'll let you know after Tom says what he's gonna, because it might not matter what I say. So how do you?
Yeah,
feel about
well, I do like it. It's interesting. However, I'd like to say recommend, but I think it's one of those things that's a little bit specialized in that you need to be a little bit more used to stouts before coming into it because of the subtleties in the mouthfeel and the flavors, as opposed to maybe a more, like Guinness, a more traditional stout that may be more readily available. So I think I'm going to be on the high end of the try if recommend scale.
I kind of feel that it's kind of subtle enough in what it does that if you're not sure if you like stouts,
No, and I was just going to say that I agree as well.
It would be a decent one to start
with. That's a good,
good starter stout.
right?
All right, that's
It's
a good
not like
way
an
to look at it.
imperial, like turn up the coffee flavors
Yeah.
and really pound you and
Yeah, it might have a little bit more of a carbonated, maybe a little bit more of a familiar taste to someone who doesn't drink stouts, that they can come to this and it might be a good entry level. Like, oh, okay, I can see that it's bridging a gap between two different things, that this might work out.
it's an ambassador stout.
Ambassador
There
stout.
you go.
All right, there we go. Scottish ambassador stout. Interesting. All right, so we're going to go ahead with a recommend for this one. Interesting taste experience. The traditional glass for this wins out.
Yep.
I believe yet again so far we've 100%.
Pretty much agree.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for Belhaven's Scottish Stout and Pints of Interest,
Cheers.
Cheers.